Do you like Glenn Miller? So, Joseph's Adventures at Regeneration Who have drawn some fabulous new Whovians to our audience, which is very exciting. Welcome to our channel, and thank you for watching and subscribing. What you guys may not know is that I am largely responsible for introducing Joseph to the show, and Doctor Who's been a big part of both our lives and our friendship. So with that in mind, I thought I would go ahead and participate in the Doctor Who Tag Challenge and tell you guys a bit about my journey as part of this community. I am the author, and this is my story as a Whovian. Question number 1. What was the first Doctor Who story you watched? Technically, mine was The Curse of the Fatal Death, which was the comedy sketch written by Stephen Moffat in the 90s. This was in about 2009, and I didn't officially get started with the series until I watched Rose in January of about 2011. I wasn't entirely hooked based just on that episode, but was definitely charmed by Nine's quirks and Rose's bravery. I don't remember being too thrilled with the end of the world, but I think about halfway through The Unquiet Dead was when Nine made a pun about a happy medium, and there was no going back. So as far as the next question, who's your favorite Doctor? I've been very fond of pretty much every Doctor I've seen, but Nine is my Doctor and has a special place in my heart, and he's the one who drew me into the show. He was always far more than some grim action hero like the kind of the movies that my dad would watch. He was dangerous when he needed to be, and sincere when it mattered most. And he was sad and hurting, but always kept a really careful eye on who he was. He was childlike and charming and so delightfully nonchalant about his escapades, and his ears have special powers. Favorite companion? Martha Jones. Martha Jones, my queen, my nightingale, my unsung hero. I have a huge problem with people who use crushing on the Doctor as a reason to shit-talk any companion, even if as a plot device it has become trite and stale. This has been used as an excuse for a lot of people to rail against Martha, and that shit doesn't fly with me. The Unrequited Love Story was a really unfortunate device because of the way it overshadowed her journey as a character. She started off as a clever, capable, thoughtful person who relied on and trusted the Doctor for his knowledge and his cleverness and his experience. And she grew into recognizing her own worth. She learned that not only did the Doctor need saving, but that she was just as good at being the Doctor herself, and at being everything the Doctor stood for. And I really look to Martha as a role model. She thinks before she acts. She's patient, she's compassionate, she's clever and resourceful, incredibly witty, and a huge nerd who loves Harry Potter and Shakespeare. And she let herself get captured so that she could stand in front of the Doctor's arch nemesis, a ruthless, practically demigod, and laugh in his face. Looks up and says just one word, one thought, and one moment, but with 15 satellites. And you watch the oh crap look on the Master's face, and you know she's beaten him. Hoisting the engineer with his own petard. I love her. Jack is probably my favorite to cosplay, if you couldn't tell. Jack's personality is so different from mine. It's trying on a whole new persona of someone who's flirtatious and outrageous and larger than life. I've fallen in love every companion in some way, and Captain Jack also has a very special place in my heart. Favorite story would be The Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. It runs the gamut of emotional torque. It's poignant, it's clever, hilarious, sad and witty, and utterly terrifying, and so many things, and it's just so beautifully crafted. And, I loved Nine and Jack and Rose all working together. Favorite villain or monster? Going to go with the Master. I find his story and his interaction with the Doctor to be so complex and fascinating. There's so much history, so much emotional tension. He has such a profound impact on who the Doctor is, and I find that he makes for a really compelling villain and nemesis. What's your favorite series or era? I'm going to go with season 3 on that one. The whole series is a bit ridiculous and campy, as Doctor Who tends to be, and there are some really fascinating themes. Especially starts getting serious with human nature and Family of Blood. And then there's Blink, of course, which is an absolute classic. And then Utopia, Sound of Drums, and Last of the Time Lords. For the latter 3, I think they have so much potential, and I'm so invested in Martha and Jack and The Year That Never Was, what that timeline was like, and what the implications of it were. And the end of the episode is also really important too, because that's where she and Jack, they both go home. They've spent so much time following the Doctor and becoming the Doctor in their own right, walking away and bringing it into protecting the Earth themselves and living their own lives. It's very poignant. And the thing is that the 10th Doctor was awful to them. And they both recognized that, and they still cared about him, but they knew they couldn't stay. And this is just such an important message to have, to know that they could walk away from that and get on with their lives, and give him a chance to go and try and pull himself together. And new era, classic era, or both? I'm gonna go with both. Both is good. There's so much to the story as a whole, and it's nigh well impossible to like everything about Doctor Who, but I think you're always going to find something about it, just something that speaks to you and resonates. And not everyone gets into it, because there's a lot that you have to meet halfway, but when you do, it's very rewarding. Thank you again for joining us, and just be magnificent. Oh, and your turn, Time Boy. I'm tagging you.